Statistics have been around in video games since their inception. Simple statistics like how many games you've played or how many times you have died in a certain round are some examples of statistics in video games. Games today use much more complicated statistics now to help players get better results in their particular game. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, or CSGO, and World of Warcraft implement statistics in their trading platforms to help players decide what to buy and what is valuable in-game. Overwatch has player statistics and reputation statistics for every player in the game to help them become better competitors. CSGO has an average player base of around 600,000 people per month on the high end and 300,000 people on the lower end of the spectrum. CSGO offers in-game skins that you can win. You win these by opening cases and randomly receiving a rare item, which, in this case, is a skin for your gun. Items can be sold or traded on the Steam marketplace. The price of one case varies from 30 cents to $12, and the price of one key in order to open one case varies from $3 to $10. There are 5 types of items in CSGO: mil-spec, restricted, classified, covert, and gold. The odds of receiving one of these rarities in a single case are listed down below. There's a 79.92% chance of receiving a mil-spec item, a 15.98% chance of receiving a restricted item, a 3.2% chance of receiving a classified item, a 0.64% chance of receiving a covert item, and a 0.26% chance of receiving a gold item in a single case of CSGO. As you can see, the red and gold rarities are clearly not in your favor if you open one single case in CSGO.
When dealing with games like World of Warcraft, you have drop rates, which are item drop rates on certain bosses and certain instances of the game, like raids, where you get together with your friends, you go fight the boss, and the game actually gives you statistics on how often that item or that particular rarity of an item is going to drop from that boss. Now, it's really hard to fight these bosses, so knowing the drop rate helps because you can run it, every 10 and 10 out of your 50 times you're going to run it, you're going to get this helmet or you're going to get this sword that's in the game, right? And that helps players also choose prices when they're going to go put it on the market at the auction house or sell it with another player. And as well as their marketplace has a actual CPI, so it'll tell you the inflation and deflation of certain items that have increased in value over time or decreased in value over time. Because as the game goes on, there are harder and harder bosses, and some items don't meet the level requirements that players need in order to fight that boss. So they sell the item to other players, and they try to find a reasonable price that other players have sold it at, which the game also gives those statistics as well. When dealing with a game like Overwatch that's not item-based or trade-based, it's mainly based on how well a player plays. So it's all performance-based, so which means you have player stats, things that show how often a player is dying in game, how many eliminations they're making, how often they're staying on objective, how much they're working with the team, how much they're supporting their other team players. And it also shows the usage of each type of character within the game. So it shows how well a person is, say, with a certain character that's needed for a certain position within the game. Now, when you're dealing with those types of stats, players like to use them to build competitive teams. And when you're dealing with an online forum, you have plenty of random people who, may seem like they're qualified, but they aren't. So you have reputation stats, which also give a history of how well the players played within past history games. So they players give recommendations or commendations to the players that they're playing against or playing with to say, oh, you've played well, you were a leader, or you just did your job, and we appreciate that. And that tells other players, okay, we have a guy here who's trying to be strategic, or we have a guy who's just trying to get through the game. And that's really helpful when trying to make a competitive team because some of these lead into actual competitions.
So next up we have using statistics to increase sales. So as you can see on the right, I've inserted a chart from 2011 to 2020, the sales from the video game industry in millions of dollars. So then, other than 2012, where there was a little bit of a dip, you can see that it's steadily increasing. So right now, the industry is currently worth $19 billion and projected to steadily increase. That being said, marketers can use this statistical analysis to accurately determine which areas and platforms to market and create their marketing plans. So marketers can use this information regarding consumption of video games such as gamer demographics like age, gender, time spent playing video games, platforms, devices used, as well as best-selling games to determine how to effectively market new products. And the little blurb at the bottom there just says there are more than 2.5 billion video gamers from all over the world. So that was a statistic that was back in 2016. So I can only assume that that has increased since then. Effectively using gaming statistics. So in order, if you're marketing a program, if you're thinking of creating a program, these are good statistics to know. You can figure out what kind of game you want to design, what's the most successful. So the first graph that I have listed on the left is worldwide unit sales of best-selling games of all time in millions. So this was done in January 2018, and it lists, I guess, probably the top 15 games that are the most successful, starting with Sims 3 being the highest. World of Warcraft is a very close second. So if I were designing a game, this is something I would look at. I would want to know which kind of games are the most successful, be that shooting games, lifestyle games, stuff like that. So that's important to know. Companies can use these statistics when constructing new games, designing new gaming platforms, and using this information to effectively market their products. Secondly, I've got a worldwide game market revenue from 2015 to 2017 by millions based on region. This is also important to know because all of the marketing students will know that when you're bringing a new product into a specific region, sometimes you have to change your brand, you have to change your marketing plan, stuff like that, so they can see which areas are the most successful and which regions are a little bit smaller and plan accordingly. So this is how statistics can affect your marketing plan.